One might ask, what is the job of like a public school, the public education system? To me, I would think that the public education system serves as a sort of backdrop to make sure all of America gets a basic level of education on basic issues that allow those kids to grow up to be functional members of society, right? Reading, math, social studies, those sort of basic subjects that you learn in K through 12 education. That's not what's going on right now, though, right? Those things are those are off to the side. I mean, who wants to know about math and chemistry and biology when we could teach critical race theory? That's the important thing right now, is for all of the kids to know how much they should hate each other based on their skin color. Now, the best part about this, the grandest irony of critical race theory proponents, is they call themselves anti-racist educators, yet they're teaching a system that is inherently racist and tells not only kids that they're racist, but that also the teachers are racist, that everybody is racist, and that racism is inherent based on the color of their skin, their ethnic background, or whatever. Regardless of the nurture elements, regardless of who their parents are, you can have students whose two parents marched with Martin Luther King. But if those two parents happen to be white, then that student is also white and therefore racist. That's what is being propagated under critical race theory. And we have schools across the nation telling kids that they need to recognize their inherent racial prejudices and their animuses towards their fellow students. And a lot of the students are left thinking, I actually don't have any animus towards anybody at all, and certainly not based on skin color. So that's a weird backdrop for this story that we've got going. Let's see what the teachers union is up to right now in regards to the education of our children. Are they focusing their efforts on actually teaching subjects of basic human civilized education? Or are they focusing on that whole race thing a whole lot? Let's get into it. I'm Nick Rekieta of Rekieta Law, a small law firm in central Minnesota. I'm a lawyer. I'm also a legal and political commentator on YouTube and on Odyssey. Wherever you might be watching, go ahead, hit like, hit subscribe, follow the channel, make sure you don't miss any videos, turn on your notifications, all of that stuff. All right, this is from Fox News. And like always, I'll have the link to this down in the description of the video. Critical race theory opponents are to be targeted and researched by NEA, the National Educators Association, the biggest teachers union in the country. Instead of focusing on how they're going to teach kids the things they need to survive and to become thriving adults who can integrate into a workplace and make something better for society, instead of that, they're going to spend their resources propagating critical race theory so far that people who dare speak out against it are going to be researched and analyzed by the union. Teachers Union will research the organization attacking educators doing anti-racist work. And of course, that's the best misnomer of all of this, that this is anything even close to anti-racist when it's a system built with a racist premise. Critical race theory takes the premise that you are inherently racist based on your white skin, and as a black person or a brown person, you are inherently oppressed based on your black or brown skin. That is the system that critical race theory starts from. That's not its conclusion. That's not the conclusion. That is the zero. That is the beginning of the timeline. It says, okay, these systems and institutions of ethnicity are inherently racist, and white is oppressive and black and brown is oppressed. So therefore, this percolates down to children, and those children are parts of these systems, and therefore they are either racist or oppressed. That's what they're calling anti-racist education in schools right now. Right now, that's what they're trying to teach to K through 12 kids, because that's what they need. The National Educators Association will research the organizations attacking educators doing anti-racist work and or use the research already done and put together a list of resources and recommendations for state affiliates, locals, and individual educators to utilize when they are attacked. The measure reads on NEA's website. What do they consider an attack? It's literally someone speaking out in public against these institutions. That's an attack to them. If a parent stands up at a PTA meeting and says, whoa, 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 I'm not cool with this. If parents stand up to the school board and said, we don't want our kids being told that they're racist based on their skin color, that's racist. That's racist. And you have no business teaching our kids that they are somehow hateful when they're not. That's an attack on these people. That is the egregious assaults that they have to deal with, is that as public educators, parents of the children that they're purportedly teaching might have an objection to them instilling hatred into their children. That's the attack on them. None of them are being physically attacked. None of this is going on. And now what they are doing is over and over across the country, they are employing shaming tactics. And at the most extreme, they're actually shutting down school board meetings and calling in the police to call the parents gathered for the school board meeting an unlawful assembly and arresting those parents because they dared to speak out against critical race theory. The research, resources, and recommendations will be shared with members through NEA's social media, an article in NEA Today, and a recorded virtual presentation/webinar. The NEA did not respond to Fox News' request for comment. Manhattan Institute's Chris Rufo, who's been leading the battle against critical race theory. And guys, if you are interested in this subject, you've got to follow Chris Rufo on Twitter. This is the guy who has been doing the legwork, exposing critical race theory, not just in schools, but also in big organizations, talking about how this pervasive Marxist ideology is, and I don't say that hyperbolically. I mean, it's literally a Marxist ideology. That's where it comes from. Talking about how this is invading and infecting major institutions around the country. And at the end of the day, remember what it's saying. It is a racially discriminatory theory on its face. That is the purpose of it. That is where it starts. It is determined through racial discrimination to come to some alternate conclusion. And that's not how we do things here. That's not how America does things. That's not how Martin Luther King did things. That's not what the civil rights movement was asking for. This is the opposite of equality, and it is the opposite of anti-racism. It is literally pro-racist. He responded on Tuesday. He says, the National Teachers Union is funding an attack machine against me, Gun DeSalvis, and our allies. We were born for this fight and will show no mercy to corrupt ideologues who are ruining American education. Swords up. So that is the idea. They have allocated money to go ahead and issue this research and report and then communicate about it and teach people how to teach these poor educators who have to deal with disagreement from parents over, again, the educators teaching their the parents' children that the children are racist based on their skin color. They have to deal with pushback on that, and they can't. That's just a bridge too far. That's just a bridge too far. Billed at $56,500, the measure was marked as adopted as amended. It specifically called out groups like the Heritage Foundation, which has published anti-critical race theories messaging from Rufo. The attacks on anti-racist teachers are increasing. Show me one. Coordinated by well-funded organizations such as the Heritage Foundation, it reads, we need to be better prepared to respond to these attacks so that our members can continue this important work. And that just goes to show that the National Educators Association, the teachers union, is one of the biggest roadblocks to successful public education in this country right now. Right now. The NEA has been a garbage organization, a terrible union, trampling public education for decades. And it's coming to a head, and hopefully parents are waking up. Are you guys awake? I'm tired of seeing America's kids called racist by a bunch of people whose premise is skin color makes racism. Why don't you tell me what you think in the comments? Until next time, peace. Peace.